Welcome to AJV Career Talks, a webinar series that has been specially curated to provide valuable and useful information about studying in New Zealand with a view to fulfill career aspirations. Today, the topic of discussion is opportunities in New Zealand in the IT industry, which we bring to you in collaboration with Lincoln University. Hi, I'm Kanuva Majumdar, Country Head of AJV Global based in India, and I welcome our esteemed guest panelists from today from Lincoln University. Dr. Stuart Charters, who is the Senior Lecturer at the Department of Environmental Management at Lincoln University, and Annie Go, International Manager and Customer Engagement and Insights at Lincoln University. Joining us from AJV Global, we have Namrata Verma, who's one of our Senior Licensed Immigration Advisors. Lincoln University is located in the picturesque city of Canterbury, very close to Christchurch, in New Zealand's South Island. The university has a historic yet modern campus, which is surrounded by 58 hectares of green fields. It is amongst the top 1.5% of universities worldwide and has about 3,000 students from more than 80 countries who are busily growing their futures. Facilities available to students include advanced teaching spaces, comprehensive library, leading-edge research laboratories with 24-hour access, eateries, world-class cricket facility, and fully equipped fitness center. So without further ado, I would like to request each one of our panelists to give a brief introduction before we head into the Q&A session. We start with Namrata Verma.
Hi, everyone. So as Tanuva has already introduced me, I'm
Namrata, you may be on mute.
No, I'm not actually. I don't know. No.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Right. So as Tanuva has already introduced me, I'm Namrata and I'm a licensed immigration advisor based in Christchurch. I have more than 16 years of experience working with Immigration New Zealand and obviously now hold a license to practice as an advisor. My background and experience give me an insight into how applications are processed and an understanding of instructions from a more practical perspective. So I was reading online just today that obviously the COVID-19 pandemic has caused economic disruption worldwide, and for New Zealand, it's no different. However, some industries, which include the IT industry, can expect job growth of 6% by 2025 in New Zealand. So that's great news, and IT is a booming industry, and for New Zealand as well, it's no different. There are a lot of IT roles which are listed in the skill shortage list, and that simply means there are opportunities for you to find jobs in this sector in New Zealand as a systems administrator, a developer, programmer, software engineer, and the list goes on. This session hopefully will help you decide your study pathway to New Zealand and assist you in making an informed decision.
Thank you, Namrata. I now call upon Annie to give us a brief about Lincoln University.
Namaste. And good afternoon to my colleagues in New Zealand, but also a good morning to our students in India. So firstly, I was just going to give you a couple of things about Lincoln University. And firstly, my name is Annie. I am the International Manager for South Asia and Southeast Asia at Lincoln University. I do have a colleague, Supriya, who is based in India, and she has been attending lots of events. So today I'm taking one for the team. And in Christchurch, we also have Shita, who also help us to look after our international students, especially students from India from our office. So between the three of us, we are the super team, India Super Girls at Lincoln University, along with other support system. So just a quick kind of overview about Lincoln University's location, and thanks Tanuva for this very good introduction. We are located in the South Island, which is a city called Christchurch, and Lincoln is about half an hour's drive to the city center. As Tanuba has mentioned that we started in 1878 as the School of Agriculture. So our campus is located in a township called Lincoln, but it's an easy drive to the city. I'm passionate about Christchurch as a city of opportunity, so I always like to play a little bit of play for students and people to visit our city. So I have a 2 minutes video that I just want to show, and which I recently found on YouTube, which will allow you to have a come and experience our beautiful region and city. Just to have this is our first month of spring. The temperature wasn't very great today. It's a bit cold, but just to give you an idea about the 4 seasons of Christchurch and the region. So Christchurch is the gateway to the South Island. So before COVID, it's quite easy to commute to Christchurch, and we are the home for the second largest international airport in New Zealand. So hopefully one day you get to visit us as well. If you follow Instagram, just follow Christchurch NZ. That will also allow you to keep updated with the beautiful scenery of our regions. So quick brief information about our city, our university. Lincoln University started in 1878. We ranked top 400 in the world and 18th in the small university category and top 100 in agriculture. What you see in the picture, that's how we started in 1878. And a couple of features that I really like about our university is that we have a fantastic staff to student ratio. And with the specialist nature that we are, our industry link has been really strong. And that's why we are also very well respected in the international markets. Approximately 1,000 international students enrolled at Lincoln each year. So what you can see here is the area of specializations. And today, the area of specialization is not quite listed here, but still will talk about specific career because the Master of Applied Computing was just launched recently, and it's really exciting. We have 3 faculties: Faculty of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Faculty of Environment, Society and Design, and also Faculty of Agribusiness and Commerce. So in these 3 faculties, we offer from bachelor degree all the way up to PhD area. And I just going to finish here. So we do have what we call 180 credits top masters, which are 3 semesters between 1 to 1.5 year studies. And these are new qualifications that are some of the purpose of the qualification is more about what we call conversion. So converting you from one industry to another industries. And this will, and for this 180 credit top master programs, they range between what I listed here. Specifically, I want to mention is that we also have top master merit scholarships, which when you submit your application, you don't have to apply for the scholarship. If you had achieved B+ average in the final year of your bachelor degree, as part of the admissions process, you will be granted the merit scholarships. And the Master of Applied Computing, the scholarship is 7,000 New Zealand dollars. On that note, I'll hand it over to Stuart, and thank you.
Thanks, Annie. So my name's Stuart Charters, and I've been at Lincoln for nearly 15 years after moving to New Zealand from the UK. And I really just want to echo what Annie had to say about Lincoln and Christchurch. It's a great place to live, study and play. And the pictures that she showed you is what it's really like. And we have a fantastic campus, lots of green space and lots of great facilities. I want to spend a few minutes talking to you about our new qualification, the Master of Applied Computing, which is starting in November this year. It's a 180 credit taught master's program specifically designed to help people to transition into the tech sector. And this is comes from our experiences over the past 4 or so years running a program here in New Zealand for domestic students through the through the Signal ICT Graduate School, and we've taken that experience and developed this program both for domestic students within New Zealand and also students joining us from overseas. So the program is designed to transition into a tech role from any degree background. As Annie said, you can do this program in 12 to 18 months, depending when you start. And the program is focused on post-study employment, and it looks to build both technical skills and the skills to work with other people. We have a real focus on applied learning. So that means project-based learning and learning with industry. Being a new program and recognizing the uncertainty that COVID has introduced, we've opened this program up so that you can start in any of our 3 semesters. So that's November, February and July. And to support you through your learning, we have the first semester particularly designed to be studied either in your home country or in New Zealand, but with online content and support provided online or in person if you're in country. Just a little bit about why we're offering this and why New Zealand and why the tech space. So these figures are from last year, but each year we've been growing and growing. Tech was New Zealand's 3rd largest export sector. It's recently moved into the 2nd place with the decline in tourism. But we have been employing increasingly large numbers of people each year, approximately 3,000 jobs being added each year. And we're contributing about 8% of New Zealand's GDP, and that just keeps growing. Sorry. So we have a number of potential roles in the tech sector that people are interested in. And these are roles that we've built the Masters of Applied Computing around to be able to support. Those roles include those roles as a developer, whether that's particularly focused on web technologies or more generalist software. Being a specialist land-based university, we're really interested in roles that include spatial technology, so geographic information systems or GIS, and also some of those other roles that sit around project teams, including business analysts, user experience designers, and for those people who help ensure the quality of software that's being shipped. So quality assurance and test analysts. To support the program, we've developed a really clean and simple structure, divided into 3 parts. The first part that you can see is our software development part, which builds a solid technical foundation, before moving on to our studio project, which is a group-based project, series of projects where you work with other people and learn the industry standard project management techniques. And the third part is what we call our industry project. This is a placement in industry for 300 hours where you work on an industry project, and we invite industry in to the university and run through a process where we match you with the appropriate industry for your career intentions. Alongside that, in each semester you can choose an elective, and we have a wide range of different electives that you can choose from, including any of our computing and engineering papers, our ones in GIS, and one of those electives can be taken from any of the other postgraduate courses at Lincoln University. So if you have a non-tech background and you wish to gain some more postgraduate experience in your core area of expertise, there may be an elective there that you'd like to choose. These elective options let you add depth to your course and to tailor your course towards your chosen career option. So in the software development aspect, we're using Python as our main programming language and focusing on building full stack web applications. We focus on relational databases and bring in HTML, CSS and JavaScript to accompany that. In our project work, we adopt agile software development techniques, and working with our School of Landscape Architecture, bring in some design skills, design thinking, and work to build your what we call your human skills. So your ability to work well with others and to engage with clients and end users. Our studio projects are group-based, and we bring in external clients to give you experience of working with external parties. And these are a really great chance to consolidate your technical skills that you've learned in the software development aspect. The industry project is your capstone. It's your chance to shine and showcase your skills. An individual project hosted by industry, where you spend 300 hours working alongside an industry mentor with an academic supervisor. And of course, at the same time, you get to choose an elective to do alongside that. So the Masters of Applied Computing is designed to transition you into a tech role from any degree background. As Annie mentioned, we have merit scholarships available to help enter the program. And you can start in November, February or July. And our first semester is very focused around getting you started, even if you can't join us just yet in New Zealand. So we have our content delivered online with support provided online as well. So it's a 180 credit masters that if you start in November, you can complete within a year. And whilst it's a new program to Lincoln University, it's been built on our experiences over the past 10 to 15 years, working with both undergraduates and postgraduates and the Christchurch tech industry. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Stuart. That was very good information. We'll now open up the floor for any questions that we may have from our other participants. I already have one question, so I'm just going to ask that. Says, I couldn't complete my bachelor's degree, but I have been working professionally for a year and a half now. can I apply for any course, a bachelor's course, that is? Annie, would you be able to answer that?
We do have a range of bachelor degrees that the students can apply for. Unfortunately, we don't have an IT degree embedded into our undergraduate degree. So the students normally, if they do apply for the bachelor degree, if they provide enough information of their previous qualifications, potentially they can get maybe up to 120 credits, non-specific credits, what we call for advanced standing. That's a possibility. So what it means is it may take another 2 years for the students to complete a bachelor degree in New Zealand. But if it's a relevant qualification, it may shorten a little bit more time. So it will be case by case basis on that basis. Stuart, have I answered it correctly?
Yes, Annie, I think that covers it well.
Next question is from one of our attendees called Anil. He wants to know he's completed engineering in electronics and communication and has worked for 7 years in the IT field and wants to know if he can apply for the Masters in Applied Computing. And he's 35 years old. Stuart.
Yes, we would welcome an application. It's great to have a tech background coming into the program. And one of the things that the program can really help with is making that transition into the New Zealand tech sector. So building on your previous experience, but also bringing through the skills and challenges of working in the New Zealand environment.
What are the demanding programs for applicants with subjects like chemistry, physics, mathematics at bachelor level? Bachelor is at level 7 according to NZQA and with a PTE score of 67. I think if Annie or Stuart, one of you would be able to. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Awesome. That's quite a big question. For Pearson, for postgraduate studies, we need the PTE Pearson at 58 and no band less than 50 to meet the minimum requirement. And in terms of the academic relevance to the particular program, typically we look for in your final year of your bachelor degree, we would like it to be B average to meet the academic percentage requirements. To be fair, if it's sometimes it's just miss a couple of marks and the students may have very relevant work experience, from time to time, we will be looking at what we call a specific special admissions process where the program director, like Dr. Stewart, will look at the application and make a case to our academic community from time to time. That really depends. So, but for the students from chemistry background, if they have this real interest in IT field and wants to learn and meets the academic and the English language requirements, we will welcome the applications. Have I covered it well, Stuart? Have I missed anything?
No, I think that's good. We welcome applications from well qualified candidates with any background into the program. So.
Thank you. The next question is, I completed my MCA last year and now I'm working as an app developer at NIC, mostly working with Android Studio and Flutter. Can I opt for any master's degree, Stuart?
Depending on your individual transcript, but it sounds like you have a very good background and some solid grounding. So we would welcome your application for the Masters of Applied Computing.
Thanks, Stuart. So this one is from the same person who had asked about the relevance of having completed a bachelor's in chemistry, physics, or maths. So he wants to know what are the programs which are likely to be in demand in his sort of relevant field.
I'm going to give that question to Namrita, because that's the kind of like, in some way, I think Rahul is wanting to find out what kind of subjects he may be able to study for to meet the industry demand.
Namrita, do you want to take that one? You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute myself, yeah. So if Annie has understood the question correctly, and I hope I have understood it correctly. So there are, as I mentioned initially, that a lot of these IT skills are on the long-term skill shortage list. And I think it's important that you do a course which gives you that, you know, the push to get a job in one of those skill shortages. There is an appendix which is there in the Immigration Operational Manual, which talks about the long-term skill shortage list. And some of the courses that are mentioned there are all bachelor levels, minimum, and which is a level 7, and you can do it in a wide variety of specializations. There is Bachelor of Applied Management, for example. There is a Bachelor in Applied Information Technology. There is Bachelor of Animation, and there are a wide variety of roles, that some of them which I mentioned in my introduction. So I guess if you are looking at any specific area of interest in IT that you are interested in or have a background in, we can possibly have a more detailed discussion about your profile. So you need to connect with us because obviously we can't spend all the time assessing your just personal profile, but connect with us and we can go over the options and a course which suits your profile accordingly.
Yep. Yes, I would agree with that. Rahul, please connect with our AJB team. If you are based in India, you can call on the Indian toll-free number. If you're based in New Zealand, then call on the New Zealand toll-free number. And we'll be more than happy to assist you with course selections, etc. Okay, one of our attendees says he has a PTE score of 80 plus in all sections. Is he likely to get a scholarship based on that? I guess if Annie or Stuart, one of you can take this one.
The Toastmaster Merit Scholarship is based on the last year of your bachelor degree. So it's the PTE, or should I say English language results, it's a way to demonstrate your English language proficiency. So it's nothing, don't be confused with your English language ability with your academic achievement. So the Toastmaster Merit Scholarship is based on your academic merit on your final year of your bachelor degree, and also depends on which university you graduated from in India, for example. So so you should talk to RJV's team, because for example, if it's a University of Delhi or a Section 1 university, we look for 65% in your last year of your bachelor degree, then you'll be eligible for the merit scholarship. However, if you graduated from a normal, should I say, a Section 3 university, then we look for 75% in your final year of your bachelor degree to be able to meet the Toastmaster merit scholarship criteria. So it is based on where you have completed your bachelor degree. Yeah.
Thanks, Annie. This next question is also about a scholarship. So this gentleman has done a master's degree in public administration in 2010 and has been working in both commercial and development sector. He has now started learning Python, R, and Stata as a fresher to move into tech sector. Some of them are certificate courses. He also had mathematics during secondary and high secondary study. Is it possible to receive scholarship based on those certificates?
The short answer is depends on your bachelor degree and what you have achieved. Yeah, so the criteria is based on your final year of your bachelor degree. But I would like Dr. Stewart to just look at just mention about the background for admissions purpose. Would these students be suitable for the background, would the students be suitable for your master program?
Yeah, so thanks, Annie. What we look at when people apply for the Master of Applied Computing program is both their first qualification, and if that meets the B average, then we're able to issue an offer for the program. But sometimes that's not the case, and as Annie mentioned before, in those cases we on occasion can make a recommendation to our academic committee to grant admission, and that's where being able to demonstrate previous experience and self-study in the area can help support an application.
Thanks, Stuart and Annie. I think this next question is also a bit related in that gentleman wants to know if he'll be eligible for this course if he's completed a bachelor's in forestry and has 5 years of work experience. So would they be eligible to apply for the Masters in Applied Computing?
Yeah, I think as we've mentioned, the program is open to students from any degree background. You know, each individual case, of course, depends on their transcript and work experience. But from the information that we have, I'd certainly encourage somebody with that background to apply.
Great. What is the total fee for the Masters in IT, and how much will the scholarship cover?
I think that's my question. The 180 credit, the total program fees is 46,800 for 2021 fees. So whether you start in February, July, which will take you 1.5 years to complete the study with the summer break, or you start in November, which you don't have a summer holidays, the fees is the same. Total 3 semester, 46,800 in total. If you are eligible for the scholarship, that is 7,000 New Zealand dollars. So that will be based on the assessments of the scholarship will be based on it's merit based. It's based on admissions. So I think if you do get the merit scholarship, it's actually quite good, because for a say a 3 semester study, it does give you quite a lot of support. Yeah. For the New Zealand immigration requirements, you need to prove 15,000 New Zealand dollars to cover your living expenses. So that kind of cover probably about half a year of your living expenses, I suppose, if you don't eat too much and don't shop too much.
All right. Thanks, Annie. Does Lincoln University recognize graduations from Tribhuvan University in Nepal, completed in 2014?
We should be able to, yeah, because it's a recognized university.
Sure. Just on that forestry, the gentleman who asked about the forestry course says, I have completed Bachelor in Forestry and have 5 years of experience. I have studied GIS in Bachelor and have experience in the field. I have 63% and only 6 in IELTS, having 5 in one of the bands. I have published 1 SCI journal also. And I would like to study the Masters of Applied Computing. Is he likely to get an offer or a consideration for an offer? Stuart?
I'm going to look to Annie here for some support with the English language requirements, because I think that's the part that we would need to satisfy first.
Sure.
I think I was going to say what I want to find out is which university he graduated from. And the IELTS 6.0 in and 5.5 in one band, you do actually need to resit IELTS again, because it's not exact. We need a minimum of 6.5, no band less than 6.0. I just want to say that if you're thinking about one, there are two things that you need to remember. First thing is, if you want to do well academically, you do need to have strong English language ability to communicate and function academically in classrooms. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you are looking at working in the New Zealand work environment, your communication skill and your English language ability needs to be really strong. So a minimum of IELTS 6.5 academic is just the minimum, so that you can survive in this academic environment. Ideally, I mean, English language is an ongoing improvement things. I mean, I feel that I'm learning English language every day. Even, I mean, I've been living in New Zealand for nearly 20 years, and you could see that from my face. I was born in Malaysia originally. So even I feel that I can use the English language effectively, but having said that, I'm still learning that language every day. So it is the language that I live in and I work in, you know. So you cannot compromise on that level.
And I just support that. The English language ability, the ability to communicate both with other students in the program, with the academic staff, but also with people in industry is really important. And in the program, we do focus on not just the technical skills, but those skills of working with other people and communication. But you give yourself the best start is if you've done as much English language preparation as you can before you start the program.
Thank you. Namrata, I think this one's for you. I have more than 4+ years experience in software development with a BSc degree in computer science and engineering. Can I have a chance, or do I have a chance of getting recruited directly in related fields?
So I can give the answer that you're looking for, which is that yes, you do have a chance. However, there is, it's challenging if you're offshore for employers to want to hire you. Though, you know, a lot of these IT skills are in the shortage, which means the government is open to people coming from outside New Zealand with those skill sets. But there is a whole process that employers in New Zealand have to go through before they hire someone who is not a New Zealand resident or citizen. So I think it is a challenge to get hired if you are not in New Zealand as well. Again, this is a conversation because you're talking about work visas. I think we need to have a chat offline and away from this session. So Mamun took, his name Mamun, right? I'm guessing. Have I got the name right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think you should connect with us and just drop an email or call us on the toll-free numbers, and we'll be happy to speak to you and tell you what are the other possible options for you. But yeah, this is more about the studying part of it, and what you're talking is about work visas.
Thanks, Namrata. There's another question. I think this is also probably a little related, is how likely is it to get jobs after I finish my master's in New Zealand?
I've also heard I'm guessing this is generic masters, or are you talking about masters in, I don't know.
Not being specified, so let's go with
generic masters. Well, so the labor market has changed significantly worldwide, but obviously depending on what masters you've done, and like again, if we're talking about masters in applied computing, which Lincoln offers, and sounds like a fantastic course with opportunities post completion. So again, if it's an IT related masters, you know, the job market will seem very different to you as opposed to, let's say, any other masters. So it's really important to understand what masters are you looking at doing, and then we can tell you what the options are thereafter. So at this point, it's just any master. So I can't be, you know, I can't talk about the job market or roles for you. So it's I'm sorry, that's really tough to kind of put my finger on it.
Can I ask these questions to Dr. Stewart? Because if it's specifically about the Master of Applied Computing, what would be the benefits of doing that?
Yeah, thanks, Annie. so the reason that we've designed the program the way that we have, with both building those technical foundations, doing that group work, working with external clients, and doing the industry project, is to give you the best chance of post-study employment that we can. And the reason that I say that is, one, as Namrata said, being in country really helps. Two, having a New Zealand employer or project listed on your CV, and also having somebody in the New Zealand tech sector willing to be a reference is really useful when you apply for roles. The other aspect, and we didn't touch on this particularly strongly, but whilst you're based in New Zealand, one of the things that we really encourage you to do is to engage with the local tech community on a personal and professional level, to build a personal network so that you're known in the community, and that you have a good understanding of the opportunities that come up. In New Zealand, not all roles are advertised through job boards and the media. Often employees within companies introduce people into the organization. So building up your personal network also aids your post-study employment opportunities. Namrata, is it worth commenting on the post-study work visa and what that brings for students doing master's level qualifications?
Yeah, I think if you do a master's level qualification from New Zealand, the post-study visa that you are eligible for, which is actually an open work visa permitting you to work in any role, if you've got any employer anywhere in New Zealand, is actually 3 years. So you get the opportunity to actually get that experience in New Zealand and add that to your resume, and you know, build opportunities for yourself once you've completed your master's in New Zealand. So yeah, 3-year open work visa is a fantastic opportunity for you to get yourself into the job market and have the front foot there.
Thanks, guys. The next question is actually pretty interesting. It says, if a person completed graduation from a non-IT, that is engineers in electronics and communication background, and if he enrolls for masters, so a master's in, say, information technology or applied computing, then will it be difficult to understand the course? What will be the teaching structure? I think, Stuart, this is definitely for you.
Thank you. So we have designed the program specifically for people making the transition into the tech sector. So whilst there will be people who join the program who already have some understanding of the sector and may have done some programming or other things before, we're designing the program in a way that people who haven't engaged in that sector before can make the transition. So I mentioned before that the first semester in particular, we've designed with what we're calling online first content. So that means that all of the content that we've built is designed to be consumed online. And that means that students can pace themselves through that material where they get find things straightforward, they can advance more quickly. For parts that they find more difficult, they can move more slowly. And instead of offering tutorials based on, this week we're looking at this topic, which is the lab 3 topic, what we're offering is online support where students can ask questions about whichever stage they are at in that semester's worth of content. We've designed the content so that there's a number of strands that run in parallel, so students can move through those however they like, and then towards the end those strands start joining together as we build up to building what we call the full stack web application and integrating that knowledge together. So the program is designed for people who are making the transition. It always helps for students who are thinking about the course to have familiarized themselves with some of the free online courses in Python and other materials, just because that helps them get a head start when they join the program and they understand the things that the program's about. But there's no requirement to have that prior experience.
Thanks, Stuart. That was fairly informative. So the next question I'll take is, I've completed my bachelor's in computer engineering. Currently, I'm working as an intermediate e-commerce developer. But the problem is I have less than GPA 2.27 out of 4. Is it possible to study the course at this university? Stuart, you want to take this one?
Well, Annie may jump in here, I think.
It depends on the grades in the final year of the bachelor degree. So for example, in your last year, you might have 2.8, but your overall is 2.27. Then that could be taken into consideration. What we didn't mention here is potentially there could be another program, which is what we call a postgraduate diploma in applied science, which you can choose a combination of the master program as part of the studies. So it depends on, one is your English language, your overall percentage, and what subjects you've completed, and your work experience. Then Stewart can actually assess your application accordingly. But working with AJV also allows you to deal with other education providers in New Zealand as well that might have also other programs like a graduate diploma in ICT offer at RI Institute of Canterbury. That could be another alternative. So you could start the build your academic grades and then come and do our master later on when you have some work experience as well. So it is always a possibility. Yeah.
We have another person who would like to know if they have completed their bachelor's in science from University of Rajshahi in Bangladesh in February 2021, and they're hoping to achieve a CGPA of 3.85 out of 4. Will that make them eligible for scholarship if fulfill all other requirements?
I will answer this. So for students from Bangladesh, there is a New Zealand scholarship, and actually from Nepal and Bangladesh and India and even Pakistan, there is a New Zealand scholarship or New Zealand Commonwealth scholarship, which is a full scholarship program. It's competitive entry. You need to apply to the New Zealand you have to check the website and actually check to see whether you meet the requirement. So, however, what it means is when you finish, it is really competitive entry. When you finish your study, you do need to return to your home country as soon as you complete your study, because the whole purpose of the scholarship is to help your home countries for further development. So that could be that. I hope that answered the questions. Unfortunately, we do not offer full scholarships, and please accept my apologies. Some things that's out of our control. So we only have partial scholarships available. For full scholarships, you just I'll put that in the chat box so that everybody could check the website as well.
Okay, so if an applicant does not meet the academic entry requirements of a B grade and above, but has substantial work experience, can they still apply for this master's program?
Yeah, so we would, as we've said before, we will consider applicants who haven't quite met the entry requirements, and as Annie mentioned, we do have also some pathway options through the postgraduate certificate and postgraduate diploma that we can offer people as well if we're not able to offer entry into the full master's program initially.
Great. Okay. How does the university help students gain internship or supervised work experience with industry partnerships?
I'll take that one. So we have some very long-standing connections with the tech industry in Christchurch, and we invite representatives of the industry out onto campus regularly. And as part of the master's program, we will have what we call a speed networking event where the students get to meet a large number of employers or intern hosts. And those industry hosts also get to meet the students. And from that, we go through a matching process to help students and employers find the right connection. So we have, so we bring the employers or the tech industry onto campus and work with our career service as well to make that happen.
Okay, the next one's also probably for Stuart. Regarding the Master of Applied Computing program, is there an online study module for the said program? If yes, can we have a brief structure for the same? Will there be any discounts for students pursuing the online module courses?
So the first semester of the program you can take online. Now that is structured so that it supports both those people studying in country and those people studying internationally, and we have online support available. So it's structured in the same way as I described before, with the content structured so that people can move through at their own pace. In terms of application for that, if you're granted admission to the program and are eligible for the merit scholarship, then that applies to the program whether you're studying in country or you're starting online.
Thanks to it. I think perhaps the next one's also for you, which is what sort of industry projects can students expect during or once they complete the program, and what would be the duration of the internship project?
Yeah, so our industry project is the final semester of the program, and our semesters are approximately 15 weeks long, including the semester break. So the industry project runs for the full duration of the semester, and that includes 300 hours with the industry host, and then there's some additional learning hours for some of the presentation and reporting activities that go on alongside that. The range of projects is really guided by what the local industry have in demand at the moment, but also where the student wants to go as a career outcome. So typically those projects tend to include web development, user experience, some testing and quality assurance projects. We've also had students working in specialist areas. For example, in Christchurch, there's a spatial intelligence company who work in artificial intelligence and spatial data. So a student might go and do their industry project with a very specialist organisation if that supported their career goals.
And just related to that, if you could just elaborate a bit on what is the difference between a studio project and an industry project.
Yeah, so the studio projects are done in the program on campus with the support of academic faculty, and they are done in a group. So they're really focused on building your skills to work with other people because within New Zealand and Christchurch, most organisations work in small teams around their computing projects, and the focus of the studio projects is around consolidating your skills in that you have picked up in the software development aspect, and introducing you to working with external clients. So we'll bring in somebody from outside the computing faculty, outside the university, to act as a customer, often from a not-for-profit organisation, a charitable organisation, and you'll be developing a system for them, so you get used to working with other people. The industry project is an individual project, so it's really focused on you demonstrating that you have built the skills and that you have the ability to work in industry, work well with other people who are not students, who are industry professionals, and really give you that opportunity to build an industry network, to understand what it's like to work in the Christchurch industry, and to build a portfolio that you can show to prospective employers about the range of projects that you've worked on, and the skills that you can now demonstrate.
Thanks, Stuart. That was very helpful. The last question I'll take for the session, which is there a maximum age limit or age gap, or I think gap in education or work experience that is allowed when considering for the Masters of Applied Computing?
Namrata might be able to comment around any New Zealand government visa requirements for student visas, but we certainly look at each application as it comes in. For the program that I've been working with in Christchurch with domestic students, we've had students coming through in their late 50s and early 60s. You know, we welcome people of all ages to look at the program and to apply if they believe that suits them.
Yeah, and also from an immigration perspective, there is no such limitations on international students to be of a certain age before they can come and study, and that's the beauty of New Zealand. You can come in at any age to study. There is nothing in immigration instructions preventing a genuine student from coming in to study, and it's not based on age.
Okay, Namrata, this one's also for you, which is, can you change your faculty of study? So for instance, if I'm an engineer, can I try for tourism studies where I want to link tourism and IT field?
Well, you can change your line of studies, but because you would have been given a visa to study a particular course, you would need to change your visa conditions. So you would need to apply to immigration for that change. And yeah, if you get a visa to do a different course altogether, you are welcome to pursue it. But yeah, it's important to get your visa sorted so that the visa states specifically what course you can now study if you choose to study midway.
And what about, how do you think an Immigration New Zealand officer is going to look at if someone who's been pursuing engineering?
So you have to obviously have a genuine reason for changing. That kind of goes without saying. And you need to have a right representative, who understands your reasons for changing. Immigration officers, I think, can be quite reasonable if you have a genuine reason for wanting to make that change, and obviously you need to be clear in your head why you want to do it. So those kind of decisions actually are not taken lightly, even by the person who's making the student who wants to make the change. I'm sure they have reasonable explanations for it. So yeah, it is possible, but yeah, you need to know why you're making that change, because an immigration officer is going to obviously ask that. It's a very obvious question to ask why you want to make the change.
Sure. And Stuart, just if this was, if we change the circumstances around, in that if it's a tourism person who's actually pursued tourism all this while and actually now move into the IT field, how do you see that sort of, migration working? How do you see that working?
Yes, see that working really well. New Zealand's got a specialism in tourism as well. So one of the nice things that you'd be able to do through the Masters of Applied Computing, for example, is to study the program, but to pick up potentially a postgraduate elective in tourism, so that you're able to develop both the computing tech skills, but also further your tourism study. And that would be a nice way to blend the two together.
Awesome. That sort of brings us to the end of the session. We are also crossed our time limit. So anyway, thank you. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Annie, for your time and the very useful information that you shared today with us and our audience. And to the audience, thank you for watching the webinar and putting forth so many questions. In conclusion, what I would like to say is that New Zealand is a beautiful country, but obviously that is not all. Not only is New Zealand one of the safest and most peaceful countries in the world, it also has an excellent education system. It's internationally accredited and recognized qualifications, has a wide range of research opportunities, and an unparalleled quality of life. We all know the borders are still closed, but let that not dissuade you, as they're not likely to remain closed forever. Use this time to plan your study and career pathway in New Zealand. AJV Global is a New Zealand-based company which provides complete migration solutions, and we have a global team of licensed immigration advisors and ex-immigration officers who are based in India, Malaysia, and New Zealand, and who are well equipped to handle any immigration-related matters. So do not hesitate and reach out to our team today. Thank you, everybody. Thank you again.